So when you respect someone, you don't have to fear them. My mom instilled in us that you have to have respect, which is fear and silence. You listen, right? Just do what they say. And she couldn't have been more wrong. It's a beautiful 80 degrees here in Milwaukee. Got my Bill Murray on. And although it's not military related, still want to use Memorial Day as a little bit of a theme and talk about some memories. That said, I am currently smoking Sutliff SPS 17 Lavish English. It's a nice Latakia blend. Nice and smoky. Reminds me of a campfire. A little bit. Just the different smells and notes I'm getting. Got this from Pipes and Cigars online. So something happened to me 2 nights ago that got me thinking. My wife and I, we were at an art fair all day long. In the sun, 80s, hot, sun beating down, and we were selling my terrariums and miniature terrariums, things like this. And it was exhausting. After we were done and packed everything up, after we, put it all out, displayed, sold, packed it all up, came home, we were both exhausted. Bodies exhausted, minds exhausted. And all we did was stand there and sell stuff, but it was in the sun. It was for like 6 hours, 7 hours, and it was, we sweat a lot in that sunshine, I'll tell you that. That evening, we were invited over to my in-laws. We live next door to them, and they're both great cooks. And they made spare ribs and some asparagus and just different stuff, and it was very good. As I'm eating, my mother-in-law, who is a saint, dropped something in the kitchen behind me. Some silverware or something like that. Nothing broke. It was very basic, very nothing. But what happened following that was extremely eye-opening to me. As soon as I heard it drop behind me, my entire body tensed up. My shoulders tensed. My back tensed. My chest tensed. My mind, my subconscious, was weird. It started thinking thoughts like defensive thoughts, because I'm trying to get the blame off me, even though I'm not even in the same room. In my head, it just starts, and it's natural. It's a very, it just happens without me realizing it, or even realize. I don't even realize it happens. The only reason I noticed it is because my body was so exhausted, and when it tensed up, I felt every muscle just kind of tense up because a fork was dropped. And the weird thing is that feeling, that tenseness, that subconscious, recording that goes on behind my brain, it lasts for a while. It doesn't just come and go like, oh, you dropped a fork, okay, no big deal. It stays there for a while, and it causes tension and stress and pressure for no reason whatsoever. And I started to think, why do I feel this? Like, I do this all the time. Loud noises, someone says something that I feel like they're upset with me or angry or being judgmental. And a lot of it comes from my childhood. So it was an eye-opening experience, to say the least. My wife and I do not scream or yell at each other. We argue. We do it civilly. and we disagree, but we respect each other. So when you respect someone, you don't have to fear them. My mom instilled in us, all 5 of us kids, I'm the oldest of 5, that you have to have respect, which is fear and silence. You listen, right? Just do what they say. And she couldn't have been more wrong. Man, I have such a... The people that I respect at 42 years old right now in my life, I don't fear. I fear disappointing them, but I'm not afraid of them. They don't scare me. They don't say judgmental and mean things to me to make me scared. And it's probably because I'm an adult now. You can't make me... I'm not going to be scared of you. I've dealt with enough people in my life. I've dealt with enough types of people in my life that I just don't care. I've been punched in the face, right? And I know it doesn't hurt. So I've been screamed at and yelled at and ridiculed. I don't respect those people that did it. I don't respect myself at that time, how I handled those situations. But now, at 42 years old, I don't care. And I can handle them a lot easier, because when you're a kid, you're impressionable and you're sensitive. And I'm still sensitive, but you're extra sensitive and you're a sponge. You're absorbing everything and trying to make sense of everything and, experiencing everything for the first time. So everything's fresh, new, and exciting. And that changes as you get older, unfortunately. A number of psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, unanimously, they told me to just stay away from my parents, their toxic relationship. It's not a good idea. I'm a better person when I'm not around them. I feel better. I act better. I'm a better father, a better parent, a better husband, a better friend. So what I've done is I've taken all that shit that I experienced, that my siblings and I experienced as kids, and I changed it up in my parenting. So my daughter does not experience any of that. No hair pulling. I don't have any hair to pull. No screaming and swearing and yelling and blaming, constant blaming. No judgment, as little judgment as possible. We're all judgmental, but there's quite a difference between where I was judged as a child and where I judge my child. I want her to be her own person. I'm not that narcissistic that I'm the person. Even though I'm her father and I lead her in the right way, she doesn't have to do everything like me. I don't want her to do everything like me. I want her to do it her way. And I want to guide her and watch and be there for her. And not upset because she didn't do it the way I did it. Not ridicule her. Not judge her. Even if it's a failure, be there even stronger for her. Because she had the daring and confidence to do something on her own, in her own way, I celebrate that. And here's the thing, I know it's working, because she's a straight A student, or I was a C student. She has got an excellent ethic for school. And her friends are great, and she is respectful and sweet and good-hearted, and these are things that I struggled with all my life because I wasn't shown any of that. I didn't know if you were that way, I judged you for being that way. Yeah. And I'd look at it as weakness. You're weak. So, which in turn was a weakness in me way back when, but it took a while to see that. So I'm wondering if anyone has had a similar experience with a little PTSD there. Someone drops something or yells or says a word, and it triggers something inside of you. fear or anxiety and it's more intense than it should be. Like, anyone hears a loud bang, you're going to react to it. But there's more to it. There's more background story to some people's responses, In fact, there's more story to everyone's responses, because they have their own lives, their own idiosyncrasies and situations that they experienced growing up and things that affected them, affects, things like this. So I feel as though on Memorial Day, I am remembering to not be judgmental. I am going to understand and realize that we're all different in our own unique, different ways, and that if I don't see it your way or agree with you, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. And I'm not going to judge you for it. Till you're an asshole. Then I'm going to judge you. After you being an asshole. But prior to that, no. I remember my mom used to pull her hair, screaming that we were sending her to a mental hospital. That was always fun. Or she would not like the way we cleaned something, like a counter in the kitchen or living room, and she'd just trash it. Just throw everything on the ground and make us clean it up again to her liking. She'd do stuff like run her finger across a shelf that was, high up, show us the dust, and make us do it all over again. And I had 4 younger siblings, so there was a lot of babysitting, a lot of chores being done. Another interesting thing is we would be told all of our Christmas gifts before we were given them, days before Christmas. Whenever we would upset her, she would, as a punishment, well, I got you Nintendo for Christmas. Okay, thanks. Yeah, boundaries were not set. I mean, it would go from I couldn't watch a PG movie because of what happened at church that Sunday, whatever the preacher said, to, all of a sudden flip the coin and they're talking they're talking about sex in front of the kids. So it was like this weird, you never knew what was about to happen. You never knew what was right or wrong or appropriate or not appropriate. Or a therapist once told me it's called borderline personality disorder, or BPD, and it is. So it's an illness, and it's sad now looking back, but what you learn from it, weaknesses and confusion and misplaced judgment, things like this. And hopefully you take those things and you take the input and you output it in a more positive fashion, in a way that it affected you in a negative way. So if I did it, if I tweaked it, if I changed it, if I didn't react this way, if I don't say it, react like my mom or dad would, or whatever the case might be, and I'm going to handle it a different way, a more caring, sweet, loving way, you're going to see, I don't know about you, but I see a huge difference in the response, in my daughter's reaction to how I reacted to her, in the follow-up conversations and everything. The entire relationship, my relationship with my daughter, is phenomenal. And it is because I did everything opposite of what my mom did. I'm going to go text my sister and brother-in-law now. Tell them happy Memorial Day. A couple vets out there. And hope you do the same. Let me know if you have a similar situation growing up, or if you've experienced any sort of PTSD or anxiety, something like that from your childhood, and how you handled it. what's going on now. All right, guys. Hope all is well. Enjoy the Memorial Day. Hope you have the day off.